This video is sponsored by Longevity Technology. Our results reveal that the microbiome may be a suitable therapeutic target to promote healthy aging. So hello and welcome to the Cheeky Science Show, where in this video we are going to discuss the gut microbiome and its connection to brain aging. So by the end of this video you will understand what some scientists have done to improve the brain health of some old mice and what this all has to do with the gut microbiome. So firstly, what actually is the gut microbiome? Well, it refers to the collection of all the different microorganisms such as bacteria, fungi and viruses that inhabit our gut. And our microbiomes aren't just passengers hanging around in our body, they actually perform a variety of different functions, such as helping with the digestion of food. But beyond that, the gut microbiome has also been linked with mediating various processes, including shaping our immune response. And so, unsurprisingly, dysbiosis of our gut microbiome has also been linked to several different diseases. In particular, it's been associated with obesity and type 2 diabetes. So it may not come as a surprise as well that the microbiome has been shown to change with age. And there's actually been a study that's shown that you can use the microbiome to be able to predict someone's biological age, which is pretty cool. And so because of these connections, a lot of research has been investigated in understanding the gut microbiome. And more recent work has shown that it's also involved in metabolism and brain health. And so given that the gut microbiome undergoes many changes during aging, if there was a way to counteract these changes, would it also have improvements on these different diseases? Well, this is kind of a big question, and to kind of address it, you need to study it in model organisms first and focus on more specific outcomes. And so this brings us on to this recent Nature Aging publication that wanted to see if the microbiota from young mice could help to rejuvenate signs of aging in the brain of older mice. And so the lovely way that you can test this is through a process known as fecal microbiota transplantation. And so I was going to explain exactly how this procedure works, but having read the method section of this paper, I feel like we'll save that for another day and simply look at this delightful figure that shows broadly what happens. So anyway, now that we understand the procedure, what they did was they took the fecal microbiota from young mice that were aged around 3 to 4 months and transplanted this into aged mice that were around 19 to 20 months. And as a control, they also gave the aged mice fecal microbiota from older mice, and they also gave young mice microbiota from young mice. And these transplantations were continued throughout the rest of the study. And as you can see here, they did a variety of different measurements. And these range from assessing brain immunity to looking at more complex behavioural functions. But firstly, did the microbiota composition even change? Well, to some extent, yes. And the case pointed out by the authors were changes seen in the Enterococcus genera, whereby you can see that the aged mice that were given the young microbiota show a greater abundance, more closely resembling what's seen in the younger mice. And that's interesting given the fact that some Enterococcus species are already being used as probiotics to improve animal health. But did any of these changes actually reflect in improvements in immune function or brain health? Well, to assess brain health, they looked at the hippocampus of these mice, which is a small region of the brain involved in learning and memory. And given that the microbiome generates a load of different chemicals that they secrete into the body, they first assessed the hippocampal metabolome. And so this figure shows how there's many different changes in the metabolites in aged mice that were given the young fecal microbiota compared to given old microbiota. And 35 of the metabolites that were altered in aging were restored towards pre-aged levels by the introduction of this young fecal microbiota. And of these metabolites that already have known connections between neurotransmission and aging, the authors identified retinol, or vitamin A, gamma-aminobutyric acid, known as GABA, N-glycolyluranate, and also arginine, and other metabolites were enriched in pathways involved in amino acid metabolism and tRNA biosynthesis. And so this is all interesting because a lot of these metabolites are linked with proper brain function. For example, a previous study has shown that vitamin A supplementation prevents age-related spatial memory deficits, and arginine has been linked to neurodegeneration. And so they saw some restorative changes in the metabolome in the hippocampus of these aged mice given young fecal microbiota, but did this have any functional consequences? Well, as I mentioned in the study, they also assessed a variety of different behavioural tests with the mice given young fecal microbiota. And one of these tests that they did included the Morris-Water maze, which is a way of determining hippocampal dependent long-term spatial memory. And so typically, aged mice show impairments in the ability to perform this task, but this was somewhat improved in the aged mice that had received the young microbiota. Now, one reason why this might have happened is because there's improved neurogenesis, the development of new neuronal cells. However, there was no evidence to support increased neurogenesis in these mice. And so it's more likely that these changes in metabolites are having the influence seen in their behaviour. However, this requires further investigation. And so the last aspect they looked at was whether or not the gut microbiota from the young mice could have any influence over host immunity in the old mice. And so the immune cells of the brain are the microglia. And typically during aging, it's observed that there's enlargement of these microglia, which reflects increased activation of the microglia that's also been associated with neurodegenerative conditions. And so the old mice that were given the young fecal microbiota showed a reduction in the size of their microglia, suggesting that the fecal microbiota transfer could be modulating hippocampal immunity. However, the transfer didn't reverse age-associated reductions in interferon gamma or interleukin-5, suggesting that the transfer may be selectively modulating peripheral immunity. And so this work raises a number of questions. The major one being, what is the mechanism behind these differences? Whilst they saw changes in the metabolome in the hippocampus, is that because the microbiome were producing these compounds, or were they synthesized within the brain? And could those metabolites alone or in combination reverse the morphological and functional alterations in the aging hippocampus, as opposed to actually having the fecal microbiome transfer? Particularly because, well, there may be some reasons why people would object to such a treatment, but also due to the fact that in this paper, the mice had to have continued treatment throughout the whole time. And so that raises the second question as well, how long do these effects last? Is it like a one-time thing and then they'll be fine for the remainder? Or how frequent would these treatments need to be for the mice to show these continued improvements? Another interesting point to raise is the fact that the fecal microbiome transfers only take the microbiome from, well, the fecal material. And that actually doesn't necessarily reflect the whole gut microbiome profile of the young mice. And so it'd be interesting to know if actually having a better representation of the young gut microbiome in the older mice would maybe show more benefits. And speaking more just on the method itself, it's worth pointing out that heterologous fecal microbiome transfer is a highly successful and cost-effective therapy for the treatment of recurrent C. difficile infection. However, another concern with doing these treatments is the long-term safety of the procedure and potential exposure to life-threatening infectious diseases. An alternative is autologous FMT therapy, so that would be banking your own stool samples when healthy to later rebalance your gut microbiome, which I'll let you have your own opinions on that. So with that, I'd like to thank the sponsor for this week's video, Longevity Technology, for which I'm very grateful. Longevity Technology delivers high-quality daily news and insights on research, investments, and technologies that extend health span and lifespan. Find the link to their website in the description. So I hope you've learned something in this video. Thank you to my Patreon supporters, and thank you for listening.